Friday, everyone. It's free Excel algorithm Friday, basically here. Super busy, back from being sick. I'm still itchy all over the place from poison ivy. What can you do? But I've finally somewhat recovered. I'm not dead yet. So let's talk about. This is mainly going to be a video about college football and how to use the college football algorithm in Excel. If you want to subscribe to it, it's $50 for the month of October. I'm doing monthly subscriptions now because I'm just so busy with all these things that I can't promise season-long subscriptions and stuff. I'm not pricing it right, so I have to just do it as we go here. So we're going to talk about that, and also I want to talk about the baseball playoffs today because the baseball algorithm is in as well. So let's take a quick look at that. What's interesting is it likes Minnesota on the road as a dog here, plus 165. Thinks they're going to win this game against the Yankees. Some of these lineups are in. I think the St. Louis and Atlanta lineups just got in. It likes St. Louis here, which is a favorite today. They were dog yesterday, but Flaherty's a very good pitcher. The line's not as good. Thinks it's going to be a close game, so consider Minnesota like plus 1.5 or Minnesota to win. I don't know what's going on in the Tampa Bay Houston game. That game's already started, I think. I don't know. So much going on. Anyway, also, my Dodgers aren't my Dodgers. The Dodgers are the pick to win the World Series from this file. It's been saying that all along, so keep that in mind. But let's talk about college football. Let me explain what's going on here. So the college football file is new this year, and we had a very, very good week last week. Uh, there's a ton of things that happen in this file, and I kind of want to show you, because you get a copy of this file when you subscribe, how to browse through this and what all this stuff means and how you can kind of use the pick sheet here to really analyze and figure out what you should be paying attention to. So let's talk about last week, for example. Last week, just looking at the money line, and I kind of want to focus a lot on the money line right now because I care about who wins games, and that's part of what this is supposed to be about is who wins games. So let's not pay attention to spreads so much, but just money line. So we were 32-13 last week, 71% of our games winning, and we have this order here. This algorithm win percentage is like how strong we think the winning team here is going to beat the opposing team. So the biggest, strongest pick we had last week was Wisconsin over Northwestern. And we also have projected scores and things over here that compare to the final scores, and then how much the payout was based on the money line, which is right here. So it's complicated, but if you're into betting, you kind of understand how a lot of this works. If you're not and you're also new to Excel, then I'm going to try to dumb it down as low as I can go because if you want to get this, I think everyone can use this beneficially. So let's talk about this. This is a pivot table that's going to have all of our history, which is this stuff in the current cube sheet. The current cube sheet has all our historical data, and I update this thing every week, and it's updated in current when I send it to you. This keeps track of our win-loss record, what the money lines were, what the projected scores were, what all that stuff. And then it represents itself in this thing, which is a pivot table, which you can mess around and do crazy stuff with. This whole thing is a pivot table here, except for this. This is something else outside of the pivot table. So when you can look at this pivot table, you do things like sort by things that you care about. And the default sort that I leave you with here is this sort by descending algorithm win percentage. Descending algorithm win percentage, which is this right here, descending by algorithm win percentage, when you use this arrow over here, it's supposed to be the strongest team to win. And as you can see, last week we won 18 in a row. The top 18 games, 16, not 18 because I'm blind. That was a mistake. I said 18, it was 16. We won the top 16 games, but a lot of those lines were not great. I try to color code the lines because if you wanted to pick 5 or 6 of the top games, you can't bet these games. Like you can't bet Wisconsin on the money line over Northwestern because it's minus 3,500. You have to bet $3,500 just to win $100. Doesn't make any sense. That's why these lines are red and such like that. So here was a yellow one, which means it's better. Like green would be the best, but yellow is there. This Louisiana over Georgia Southern game, well, they did win. Did the team win? Yes. They also covered the spread because the spread was only 3. We thought they were going to win 43-16 over here. They ended up winning 37-24. That's pretty awesome. Like, they cover the spread. They're a high-ranked game. The money line's not bad. That's really awesome. That's what you want out of this file. You can see that these ones down here also won. Wyoming, Wake Forest, Temple, winners. Louisiana Tech, Arizona, Liberty, winners. Then we start to run into trouble. I don't know why it says 0. Anyway, there's also so much information in this file that validating and make sure that it's accurate is kind of me crossing my fingers a lot of times and making sure that the sources are correct. So if you see any problems in it, let me know. So we sorted by descending here, right? Well, that's helpful, except as we're mentioning, there are not a lot of these games that you can play because they're just, the lines are terrible. And as you can see, when it comes to does the team cover the spread or not, well, in that situation, it's not as consistent as all this green right here. We're not hitting 16 of the covering the spreads in a row, right? There's a lot of no's in here. So that's why I like to stay away from that and just try to go with money line because I think teams try to win games. Now, let's talk about looking at this in a different way. Let's say instead of by win algorithm percentage, let's look at this by money line and underdogs. Okay, so you can do this a couple different ways. I'm going to go to more sort options when you click this arrow, more sort options. And I'm going to say I care about money lines descending. So I'm choosing money line out of this descending. That's going to have the games with the best potential payouts showing up on top. As you can see, we lost the biggest 6. The top 6 paying games we lost on the money line, all these teams. That is bad. That is very bad. That means that our biggest underdogs are not hitting. Also, to show you how bad that is, many of them did not even cover their spreads. So we were only 2-4 on these games. This says to me that while the file has a lot of advantages in how it works, it's certainly not perfect because we're not picking off these big dogs. Now, we did pick off some dogs. We have what looks like all games over plus 100 here. You can filter them out, and I can show you what that looks like. You can say value filters on this arrow, greater than, and instead of win algorithm percentage, we'll see the money line was greater than 100. If the money line was greater than 100, it's only these games which had a slightly losing record overall, but you can see that the payouts are good. So it was really only the ones down here. That's very, very interesting to look at it that way. It's the first time I've actually done that. So anyway, you can see how there are ways that you can change and oh, whoops, I took the wrong value filter off. This is greater than 100. I got filters all over the place. This is really complicated stuff because there's so much data. I want this to be opposing teams win algorithm is on. The opposing team's win algorithm has to be greater than 0 for it to be showing on the right. That's one filter. I'm going to clear this filter. And I'm going to sort this back to the way that I was sorting it before because I like this sort better. It makes more sense in my head because it has the strongest win algorithm percentages up top. The thing with the algorithm win percentage is when it's greater than 20%, the NFL file last year was more reliable at that number, which means all these games, everything over 20%. So you can see profitability-wise, your cumulative profit is what's showing over here. Games above 20%, cut off right about there, that is where we were almost most profitable. See this? This is a lot of winning. And then down here it goes down, and then it comes back because we hit some dogs later. It's kind of interesting to look at it that way. So 9 minutes in, if you sat for all this, I'm going to give you a sneak peek at week 7 if you haven't subscribed yet. So let's do that and see if we can learn anything in the last minute here before I'm done with this. So we can hide this because it doesn't matter yet. Games haven't happened yet. We can hide this, this, and this because it doesn't matter yet. And all we care about is this. We're sorting by descending algorithm win percentage. What can we do on this day, right? Let's take a look. Well, you can't bet Notre Dame because there's no money line because they're a huge favorite with a 46-point spread. So forget about that. Forget about this. Forget about this. Forget about this. Forget about this. Forget about that. Okay, here we go. Liberty and New Mexico. Here's a game where we love Liberty. We think the line's pretty good, and we think they're definitely going to cover the spread. So there you go. This is a pretty big line, but these are some of those games where you can put parlays together on the money line. Maryland, Memphis, Washington. Can't do anything here with Missouri. Maybe North Carolina over Georgia Tech. Look at those projected scores. Can't. San Diego State. The first time we get a dog is right here at 22%, Iowa over Michigan. And this one's down Texas Christian over Iowa State, who's also away, is at 16%, 1 plus 145. So if there's one underdog this file says to pick, it's only going to be Iowa over Michigan, which sounds like no way, but apparently this file knows what it's talking about. And you can even take them on the spread line plus 3.5 points, and that's probably a great bet for a parlay or a round robin. So that's kind of how this works. If you're interested in subscribing and haven't already, you can see there's a lot of value here. And while it's the first season, it's probably going to make us money because anytime you have a lot of games like this algorithm can sift through it and show you why would I ever tell anyone to bet Liberty over New Mexico State? I don't even watch college football, but this robotic algorithm is telling me to do it, and it's probably right. So may all of our picks be winning. We're out for now.